Assalamualaikum and hi everyone. I'm Vertebrate from Group 3 SEN2. We present to you about evolution of tetrapods from rockfin fish to amphibian for the subject ENE2253 Biology Vertebrate. Evolution of tetrapod is happened during age of fishes that known as a Devonian period, and it marks the emergence of animals that could live and move on land. An evolution of tetrapods can be from Tiktaalik, Acanthostega, and Temnospondyl. First, I will explain about Tiktaalik. Tiktaalik is known as Tiktaalik rosea that appeared on 375 million years ago, and it is known as fishapod, which is fish plus tetrapod that discovered in Arctic Canada. It had gills, scales, and fins like fish but also flat head, neck and wrist like bones like a land animal, and it lived in shallow water or on a muddy land. And the importance of Tiktaalik rosea is a bridge anatomical gap between lobfin fish and early tetrapod, and second is not fully terrestrial, adaptation in water and shallow mudflats. The second is the Acanthostega. Acanthostega is appeared on 365 million years ago, and it largely aquatic, lived in water bodies like river or swamps. It had 8-digit limbs but weak for land locomotion, but had a fish-like tail and gills. It also had a weak vertebral column, which is not adapted to support body weight on land, and the importance is it shows limbs and digits evolved first in water before true land locomotion, and the second is demonstrate early tetrapods, not fully terrestrial. And the third last is Temnospondyl. Temnospondyl is appeared on 350 until 300 million years ago, which is it is appeared on the Carboniferous period and into the Permian period, which is early amphibian stage. And it spent more time on land but returned to water to lay eggs. It had lungs, stronger limbs, and ears for hearing in the air. Temnospondyl also is an ancestor of modern amphibians like frogs, toads, and salamanders. And lastly, it also known as a semi-aquatic predator with powerful limbs and a robust scales.
Next, evidence for evolution. Many genetic, anatomical, physiological, archaeological, and geographical discoveries have been made that support the theory of evolution. These include fossil evidence, comparative anatomic evidence, embryology evidence, and genetic evidence. Next, fossil evidence. Many species show amphibians-like body structures with a flat skull, scaly skin, and pedicellate teeth. First, comparative anatomical evidence. The limb bones, which is humerus, femur, radius, and ulna, in modern amphibians are similar to the basic pattern in early tetrapods. The moist skin and skin respiration in modern amphibians are closely related to the life in moist environment of their ancestors. Next, embryological evidence. The process of limb development in embryos also shows genetic patterns similar to early tetrapods. First is genetic evidence. DNA studies show a direct evolutionary relationship between modern amphibians and ancient tetrapods.
The transition from water to land was one of the most significant evolutionary events in vertebrates history, so we go through to the parts of phylogenetic relationship. Next, this is the parts in phylogenetic relationship trees. First, we go through the lungfish and coelacanths. Lungfish and coelacanths are the only surviving lineage of lobefin fish. They have fleshy lobe fins with internal bones. Next, we go through to the Eusthenopteron. Eusthenopteron, an extinct lobefin fish. Its fin has bones resembling the humerus, radius, and ulna. Eusthenopteron is still fully aquatic. Next is Penderictis. Penderictis is a more advanced lobefin fish. They had a flatter skull and eyes on top of the head. The fins closer to limbs-like structures. Next is Tiktaalik. Tiktaalik, a famous transitional fisherpod from about 375 million years ago. They had a neck, wrist, and lime-like fins that could support their weight. They could prop itself up in shallow water but still had fish features like gills. Next, we go through to the early tetrapods. Early tetrapods is the first vertebrates with digits, known as finger and toes instead of fins. They live in water but could move on land temporarily. They represent the true beginning of tetrapods. After early tetrapods, then we go through the Acanthostega. Acanthostega known had 8 digits on each limbs and internal gills. They mostly aquatic but had limbs capable of paddling. They show that limbs evolved before full terrestrial living. Next is Ichthyostega. Ichthyostega more adapted for land than Acanthostega. They had stronger limbs and rib cage. They likely move like a seal on land but still tied to water. Next is Temnospondyls. Temnospondyls is a diverse group of early tetrapods. Some lineage gave rise to modern amphibians. They include aquatic and semi-aquatic species. The last part in phylogenetic relationship trees is modern amphibians, as example, frogs, salamanders, and caecilians. Modern amphibians retain aquatic larval stage, which is like tadpoles, but are adapted for terrestrial life. They depend on moist environments due to permeable skins and reproduction needs. That's all from phylogenetic trees.
Next is about importance of discoveries. There are 4 important of these fossil discoveries. The first one is evidence of evolution. The second one, understanding Earth history. The third one, supporting scientific theory. And the last one is educational and cultural value. Fossil of tetrapods evolution. The evolution of tetrapods, 4-limb vertebrates, is one of the most fascinating stories in paleontology, and fossils have played a key role in tracing this transition from water to land. Tetrapods evolution. There are 5 tetrapods evolution. The first one is Eusthenopteron, Penderictis, Tiktaalik, Acanthostega, and Ichthyostega. Eusthenopteron, about 385 million years ago. A lobefin fish from the Devonian period had bones in fins that resemble the limb bones of tetrapods, like humerus, radius, and ulna. For Penderictis, about 380 million years ago, more advanced than Eusthenopteron, flattened head and more limb-like fins, likely live in shallow water, suggesting early step towards terrestrial adaptation. For Tiktaalik, about 375 million years ago, one of the most famous missing links, a fish with feathers of both fish and tetrapods, gills and fins like a fish, neck, flat head, and rib bones like a tetrapod. Fins had wrist-like joints, suggesting it could push itself up in a shallow water or mud. For Acanthostega, about 365 million years ago, one of the earliest true tetrapods had limbs with digit. They have 8 fingers but still had gills and a tail fin. Live mostly in water but show the beginnings of land-adapted structures. And Ichthyostega, about 365 million years ago, another early tetrapod with stronger limbs and more developed ribs, probably able to walk on land through awkwardly, transitional between aquatic and land-based movement.
To wrap up our discussion on the evolution of tetrapod, let's highlight why this transition was such a major milestone in vertebrate history. The shift from log-fin fish to early tetrapods marked a crucial point in evolution. Several key adaptations made this possible. For example, lungs for breathing air, limb-like fins for movement, and stronger skeleton to support life on land. Some important transitional species help us understand this shift. Tiktaalik, for instance, had features of both fish and early land animals. Acanthostega is another early tetrapod that gives us insight into this evolutionary. This transition wasn't just important, it was one of the most significant in vertebrate evolution. It eventually led to the rise of amphibians and later to reptiles, birds, and mammals. What's more, it opened up a whole new world for vertebrates. They could now explore land environment, escape aquatic predators, and access different food sources. This not only increased biodiversity but also allowed for the development of complex ecosystems. In short, this evolutionary step helped shape the rich variety of life we see on land today, including us.